Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
Thank you for being with us today. Let's see, a couple things here from the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Somebody was glad that North Carolina lost. That was hard.
Yeah, I don't find myself rooting for them at all.
Yeah, that was hard.
It's and I did find myself rooting for TCU. I mean, I feel like I was rooting for the conference all weekend long. I guess it finished up a little bit better with Utah beating a Big Ten team, and then you have TCU last night taking down an ACC opponent. But for the most part, the damage had been done on Thursday and Friday with the Big 12 Conference.
Yeah, with Nebraska beating Cincinnati 20-17, and then Auburn upending Baylor 38-24, and Georgia Tech defeating Colorado 27-20. So there's three losses there. And you have to give Arizona some credit, taking down Hawaii 40-6. Maybe before the season you would have said, well, that's probably something that should happen. But after Hawaii beat Stanford, and then you could say, well, Stanford's got an interim coach, and they got, lost one of their best defensive players to Texas Tech and David Bailey. But still, Arizona with a win. And then,
well, just the way Arizona played last season, you just didn't know what you were going to get from them this year, and that looked like a really good performance. So good for them. Maybe they're a little bit better than we expected them to be. Yeah.
Let's see. And then Utah and UCLA. Utah just hammered them 43-10.
Yeah. And again, I'm not going to act like I think UCLA's going to push to win the Big Ten or anything like that, but at least it was a Power 4 opponent that they beat up on pretty badly on the road. So I guess good for Utah.
Yeah.
That pains me to say.
Yeah, it pains me. Robert weighs in. He says, hearing you after not being able to hear the morning drive for a month and a half, I don't know where you been, Robert. And Robert fixes one of my mistakes. The Yankees are at Houston tonight. I think I said that this game was at New York, and that's my fault.
You do. You can tell by the times that it's
7 o'clock. Yeah, 7 o'clock start tonight from H-Town between the Yankees and the Astros on 100.7 The Score. That's after the high school fan zone. Somebody wants to know, why is Morton getting sacked? Well, the reason he got injured is because there was a missed blocking assignment by Cam Dickey, and so you can't have that.
I did not think that it was deserving of a penalty. I mean, the guy gets chipped and knocked down, and as he's flying towards the ground, he hits Barron. It wasn't like he ran untouched and dove at his knee.
Yeah,
I thought that was an unfair call. When you see that he's running free and then gets hit and knocked off and pushed down, and he goes pushed down into the knee of Barron, I didn't think that was a good call at all.
Yeah, I went back and looked at that replay last night, just watching his knee bend like it did, and you can see why he's sore.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Glad it wasn't worse. Because it probably could have been. It was worse. It could have been worse. So, let's see. This from the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Are we worried at all about our quarterback play? The stats were great, but several of Morton's passes would have been intercepted were we playing a, quote, good team. Just curious on your takes.
So the second touchdown pass of the game, he really threaded the needle to the tight end Carter for the. Right, am I remembering that correctly? Isn't that the second touchdown pass of the game?
That's
to
correct.
Terrence Carter.
That's
right?
correct, for
he
21
really
yards.
Threaded the needle, and that one, as it leaves his hand and it's going down the field, you're like, oh man, is that going to get there? And it split two defenders And that's where I kind of said, man, you kind of showed off some arm strength there to get that one in there. I mean, again, you can accuse me of losing focus a little bit in this one when it's, you're just going up and down the field like you were. I'm not remembering any others where I was like, oh, that should have been picked or could have been picked. I didn't think the first one should have been picked. It was just he surprised me that he got it through.
Yeah,
and Can you think of any that were almost picked off?
Well, I mean, he threaded the needle to Coy Aiken on one too. It wasn't for a touchdown, but I mean, I thought the zip on his ball was really good. There, that the first play that he goes, you get the ball downfield to Caleb Douglas. I mean, he was rolling to his right and kind of floated a little bit, but I mean, I didn't necessarily walk away going, oh man. There was balls that were almost picked off. I thought he threw the ball really well.
Yeah, I don't. Mr. Rano texter, and that's not Rando. Rano, that's your title there. I don't remember any passes that I felt like were could have, should have been intercepted. So I thought Barron played terrific. I thought he looked on point. I think he showed good arm strength, and you're right, Chuck. That very first pass was just a floater a little bit, but I don't. As far as the rest of them go, I thought he looked terrific.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like they wanted to go further downfield, but he was just under a little bit of duress and kind of rolled to his right a little bit and threw that out there. It's interesting. Coach McGuire brought up Terrence Carter yesterday because he was asked about the new guys and Reggie Virgil and Terrence Carter, and he said both those guys played lots of football, so we knew what we had with them. But he said with Terrence Carter, he said he stuck the ball out, and they showed him some tape yesterday of a case where that didn't go so well for a team, and he said, we don't do that, and they made that clear. He said we only do that for 2-point conversions, fourth down or end a game in terms of just sticking the ball out over the goal line, because obviously can get knocked out and go through the end zone, goes back to the other team, or you have a lot of bad things that happen. So he felt like they got a little lucky there with that.
I think Carter looks like a stud. I think he's going to be a big-time playmaker for you at the tight end position.
Yeah.
And I thought John Carlos Miller looked good, too. Man, there was one play when he was cracking down from the outside where he just demolished a would-be defender. His blocking is really good as well.
Carter had 3 grabs, targeted 3 times, 42 yards, 2 touchdowns. John Carlos Miller, 2 catches, 2 targets, 29 yards. For him on the days.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Is the 2nd of September. We flipped the calendar over the weekend. Here's Jeff McGuire with the Stay in Sports History.
Did Brennan get that yesterday was Zach Thomas's birthday?
I don't think he flipped forward to Monday. No.
Well, yesterday was Zach Thomas's birthday.
Well, happy birthday to him.
Absolutely, because I don't want to, get in his way if we didn't. 1946, American golfer Ben Hogan wins the Golden State Open at the California Country Club in Los Angeles. It's his 3rd consecutive PGA event and 11th title of the season. Second time that year, he wins 3 straight tournaments. 1965, Chicago Cubs slugger Ernie Banks hits home run number 400. This one off Curt Simmons in a 5-3 win over St. Louis at Wrigley Field. Simmons also gave up Willie Mays' 400th home run in '63.
Oh, what a giving guy.
1978, Yankees right fielder Reggie Jackson hits his 20th home run of the season in a 6-2 home win over Seattle. 19th Major League Baseball player to hit 20 home runs in 11 straight seasons. 1987, Houston Astros outfielder Kevin Bass becomes the first National League player to switch hit home runs in a game twice in one season in an Astros 10-1 win over the Cubs. And in the year 2000, Cliff Kingsbury threw for a school record 450 yards and 3 touchdowns and ran for another score, leading the Red Raiders to a 38-16 victory over Utah State. It is National Grits for Breakfast Day.
Yeah. No grits, no grits ever. You no grits for you either, right?
No, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure I've ever had grits.
I don't think I have either.
I think I've looked at them. I've seen them. I've seen them on a, like a breakfast buffet kind of thing.
Sure. I also don't know another time of day that I would eat grits other than breakfast. But there's that. Happy birthday, former Red Raider football player and coach Mike Smith turns 44 today. Keanu Reeves, 61. Selma Hayek, 59. Mark Harmon, 74. Terry Bradshaw, 77. And Eric Dickerson is 65. And on this day, 1969, America's first automated teller machine, we know them as ATMs, makes their public debut, dispensing cash to customers at Chemical Bank in Roxville Center, New York. ATMs went on to revolutionize the banking industry, eliminating the need to visit a bank to conduct basic financial transactions. By the 80s, these money machines had become widely popular and held many of the functions previously performed by human tellers, such as check deposits, money transfers between accounts, and charging you $4 a time every time you're using something, a bank that wasn't your bank's ATM.
Wasn't yours, yeah.
Because then they could make money about you getting your money out as opposed to talking to the teller inside that cost them money.
Mm-hmm.
You pay for the convenience. Nobody's making you do that. You could have gone during business hours and got your money from your bank.
Or we do what we've all started doing. And when was the last time you went to an ATM machine?
Probably for me last week.
I don't know if I've ever been to one.
An ATM machine?
Yeah.
Really?
Seriously. Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
I mean, my wife gives me the cash.
Okay.
Yeah.
I do not remember the last time I used one.
Yeah.
I used one last week because the guy that cuts my hair, cash is king.
And that is this day in sports history.
Okay. Wow, 6:49 this morning here on the morning drive. That Cliff Kingsbury Utah State game, Matt Wells was the quarterback for Utah State that day. Okay. And Mike Smith, by the way, is now a coach for the New England Patriots. So he's been several different places, but now with the New England Patriots. So former Coronado High School kid. And obviously played football at Texas Tech. A couple things I saw over the weekend. Randy Moffat passed away. And here's the interesting note. I knew this and I'd forgotten this when I saw this. I was like, oh yeah, I remember that now. He was Billie Jean King's sister. He played Major League Baseball, was a first-round draft choice for the San Francisco Giants, and is in their Wall of Honor.
Okay.
And he was a guy that he had a lot of saves, played a lot of years. And then the Cowboy great and the former Alabama Crimson Tide player, Super Bowl champion Leroy Jordan, passed away in the last few days. He was 84, obviously in the Pro Football Hall of Fame and the College Football Hall of Fame as well. He's one of those guys that was, he was intense and he was good. Great. He was great. He wasn't good. He was great. And all those things. Robert says this, you looked at the grits, Chuck. Did you scare the grits, Chuck? No, they scared me.
All I know is no respecting Southerner should use instant grits.
If I said Billie Jean King's sister, I'm wrong. I meant brother, but that's what I meant by that. So if I said sister, then that's just a mistake by me. At any rate, I don't know. I just thought that was interesting. Randy Moffat had 96 saves in his career for the San Francisco Giants, and he played on some bad Giants teams. Played for the Astros for a year and played for the Toronto Blue Jays. He was done in 1983, so it's been obviously quite some time since he played. We'll have the High School Fan Zone on the air for you tonight. Coaches from Monterey and Coronado will visit from 6 until 7, and then the Astros entertain the New York Yankees tonight at 7. And then the Yankees and the Diamondbacks at 8 o'clock tonight. Rangers have won 6 in a row after yesterday's win over the D-backs.
Split squad for the Yankees today? They're going to play one game against the Astros and once against the Diamondbacks?
Oh, man, did I say that? I'm sorry. Astros and the Yankees at 7. Rangers and the Diamondbacks at 8.
Got a little spring training split squad action
Yeah,
for you.
we do. Man, it just my brain is, I guess, ahead of my mouth, or my mouth is just, I don't know, still
dragging through the weekend.
I
yeah.
guess so.
Mm-hmm.
I guess so. I guess I've had these active dreams lately. I mean, just vivid active dreams. You get up and you go, wow. Because some of them have been really good, and some of them have been like better than life, and then some of them have been like, You wake up and go, oh man, I don't want to do that. I want to go through that. So it's just been, and they're in color too, Jamie, living color.
Okay, well that's good.
Yeah,
makes it more real.
Yeah, it does make it more real.
I don't ever remember dreaming in black and white personally.
Yeah. Okay, I don't either, but I mean, people do.
They do?
Yeah, I think people do dream in black and white. 6:53 this morning here on the morning drive. So should I take advice from others and go not pay attention as much to the Rangers since when I kind of dip away from them, because last week got awful busy with football and started the college football season and things like that just kind of woke up and went, oh wow, the Rangers are 8-2 in their last 10. Now they're 9-1 in their last 10. They've won 6 in a row. Game and a half out of the wild card spot.
If I thought that you had any control over the Rangers, I would say do what's best for the Rangers and not pay attention. Mm-hmm. But I really don't think that you have any control over
Okay.
them.
Yeah, you're probably right about that.
So I think you're free to watch whatever you want to watch.
Rangers have jumped ahead of Kansas City now. They're a game and a half behind Seattle in that last wild card spot. And the Yankees and the Red Sox are tied for the top spot right now. So,
but a game and a half out is just,
you're right there.
That's a good couple of days.
Mm-hmm.
You're in it.
Yeah. And we talked about this, about 10 days ago. Hey, go 8-2, and you'll be right back in this thing. And that's what they did. Now they're 9-1.
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Jamie Lent and Jeff McGuire and Chuck Heinz will have Jamie's question of the day on at 7:30 this morning. We'll review upon further review at 8:30 this morning. And we'll continue to take your thoughts and comments on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. We get this, Jamie. Will Hammond looked a lot more comfortable with the offense than he did last year. I don't wish any injury on Barron, but if it happens, I'll be a lot more comfortable with Hammond taking the reins.
Okay. I thought he looked great on Saturday. It's funny, we saw him 2 different times and really in significant snaps and all that last season. I thought he looked much better in the TCU game than he ultimately did in the bowl game for whatever reason. But I'm confident in that young man. I feel like he's going to be good for us in upcoming years, but at the same time hoping that that's starting next year.
Yeah, right. One point that was made yesterday, I don't know if it was Coach McGuire or Mac Leftwich, one of the two of them, and it makes a lot of sense that, hey, Will Hammond took all the snaps with the ones in the spring because Barron wasn't able to. So he knows this offense really, 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 really well and got a lot of experience, in spring and early portion of the summer before Barron was 100%. So maybe he would say to you, well, I should look more comfortable because I've gotten more reps, with the guys that are actually out there. So, the bowl game was, a little wonky because you had a lot of guys that had opted out, including your all-time leading rusher who opted out. All right, Coach Joey McGuire was asked yesterday what the takeaway from this win was in his mind.
I think a lot of ours was, one, get the win. That's always number one. whenever that ball's kicked off. And then we felt like that we could be really dominant. We were very dominant in the game. We were able to run the football. I thought our young receivers performed well, where our vets performed well. I think the biggest thing whenever you get in the game and you can dominate the game, it is you're about to play a lot of guys, and so how clean can it be? Really, we only had 2 pre-snap penalties. We had one on the left tackle, and I think we had one it was a mixture of David Bailey and one of the nose guards, so I felt good about that. I mean, that's probably the least amount of penalties, of pre-snap penalties in the first game that I've been a part of in 31 years.
Yeah, so that was good, real good. When you kind of think about it, and they were dominant. They were able to dominate, and that's something that you want to see as well. So, felt like everything kind of clicked there. So then one last thing from him for the moment. He was asked about things they want to get cleaned up for week 2.
I mean, we want to eliminate pre-snap penalties. We did a good job, but we want to eliminate those. They had the first series. We didn't leverage the football well on one play. It was corrected throughout the game, but we want to continue to leverage the football and tackle well. And, we feel like that we've got 2 good running backs. So you build on that, and then our quarterback, Barron, got hit 3 times and shouldn't have been hit. Those 3 times. One was a lack of communication with the center guard. One was a lazy rep by the right tackle. And the one that he did get hit low on, that was one that, both linebackers, the inside linebacker looked like it was coming. They brought the outside linebacker. Cam saw the inside, stepped up, and then got over to the outside a little late. We've got to get better at that. So you attack those things. You celebrate the win for 24 hours, and then you find all the critical errors, and you just attack the critical errors.
So that's what they'll do with regard to Kent State. And you may learn less about your team with Kent State than maybe Arkansas Pine Bluff, Jamie.
Yeah, I mean, one's an FCS, one's was predicted to be one of the worst teams in college football this year, and so I don't. We learned that they showed up and were intense and were excited to play and could play together and execute and focus, like Coach is talking about, with not having many penalties, all those things. So I think those are things that you can be positive and take away from the game. But as far as will you be able to be a great running team, or will you be able to stop the run, or will you be able to get to the quarterback? All those kind of things. I just don't know how much you can take away from these couple of games.
26 guys were involved in tackles, so that was pretty cool. I mean, you had a lot of kids that got to play, in the second half. That they may not see the field the rest of the year. So that was good as well for them. This question from the Yates Flooring Center chat line. To my recollection, no. The question is, did anyone ask if Hammond's long run was a design quarterback run or was it more of a scramble? I think it was. He wasn't asked. Coach Leftwich or Coach McGuire weren't asked about that, but I think that was just more of the sea parted and he ran.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Without watching the replay again real quick, it looked to me like it was designed, but I'm not sure.
Okay. We've talked about this a little bit. TCU looked like a good team last night against a team that had a semi-pulse. Okay.
Yeah.
Semi-pulse.
Yeah, I don't think North Carolina's winning the ACC or anything like that. But no, I think it was an impressive performance by the Frogs, no doubt.
We talked a little bit about this during Optimum Game Day Live, but were you surprised at how low a score it was between Ohio State and Texas? It was 14-7.
Yeah, I guess a little bit. But at the same time, the athletes they have on the defensive side of the ball for both teams, I guess not too big of a shock. But, yeah, I guess a lot of people are kind of outraged over how for Texas and how you're – know how Manning looked at quarterback, and I think Ohio State's defense deserved a lot of credit for that, but I think that comes from the feeling that Manning was getting so much hype, even though he's, not been the long starter there for the Longhorns, and he's a Heisman favorite and all this kind of stuff, yet he's not been the starting quarterback there, and so I think that was a bit eye-opening for some. They expected great things from him.
Yeah, I mean, you're
not the easiest place to
get started.
Yeah, no doubt.
Right. And then how about Alabama? I mean, it's going to be a long week for the Crimson Tide.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I don't know when we stop making excuses for Alabama. They're just kind of mediocre right now.
31-17 as number 8 in Alabama falls to Florida State. Florida State looks improved. I mean, but man, it's going to be a long fall maybe for Alabama, because they got a lot of tough games that are coming up. And then LSU going into Clemson and winning, and for Brian Kelly, that's his first win in week 1 as the head coach of LSU.
Yeah, it felt for the world that was a game that Clemson was going to hold on to, but ultimately LSU comes up big, started to play better in the second half, and another low-scoring game, but another good football game, no doubt.
K-State escaped with a win over North Dakota. Does that make you feel like that this is a team that maybe isn't as good as people think they are, or is this just typical K-State, start a little slow and they'll get better as they go on?
Wouldn't be shocked if that were to be the case. Wouldn't be shocked to be where you said initially that team's not as good as we thought. Also wouldn't be shocked to think that it was a team that was kind of licking their wounds and almost let one loss lead to two, because they were thinking more about their missed opportunities there against Iowa State and Ireland. But yeah, that was not a pretty performance at all for Kansas State. So there's definitely question marks surrounding that team right now.
Yeah, it was a win.
Just made me more worried that we might be their second win of the year, and that's going to make them beating us even more embarrassing.
Oh, good.
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Jamie's question of the day on Double T 97.3 is brought to you by Connecticut of West Texas.
All right, very simple question for you guys, because I think there was a lot this weekend that we expected to see, and we did see. My question for you is, what was the biggest surprise of Saturday's contest versus Arkansas Pine Bluff?
Biggest surprise. Biggest surprise. The 2 8-minute quarters in the second half. I've never seen that before. Okay.
That's a good answer.
So I'll stick with that. How about that? Hadn't seen that. You see those in junior high football games and basketball games, right?
Yeah, running. Anytime there's a running clock or anything like that.
Yeah, I was just impressed with the intensity from everybody from the start to the end, and just how hard they played, and was glad to see that.
Jeff,
this sounds weird, and I don't know a better way to describe it other than this. I'm surprised Barron got hurt. Like, as good as your offensive line is, and got sacked 3 times, and that's the surprise to me. You should have manhandled their defensive line at will, and people are allowed to make a play. They've got scholarship athletes too. I get all that. That surprised me that he had a hand get on a jersey, let alone once, but 3 times.
Okay. For me, it's the running back position. We've seen a decent amount of both Jacoby Williams and Cameron Dickey, and I expected Jacoby Williams to be the more every down back. Both of them, while they were in there, it wasn't a situation where one was in for first and second and the other came in for third down. That would have been bad because you didn't get to third down very often. But I thought I was impressed with both of them, and I was definitely surprised that Cam Dickey was the first one out there. I expected that to be Jacoby Williams. So I would say that was the biggest surprise for me. I think I would also tell you that I was surprised that the kicker, that Stone Harrington was the starter, or the lead guy over Upton Bellefonte. So that was a bit of a surprise to me too. But the running back position, it's just so hard to gauge. I feel really good about both of them after seeing this game. At the same time, and again, as I said earlier, feel good about Adam Hill too. I just I'm anxious to see what they look like against bigger, faster, stronger guys, and because I thought they both looked good.
Yeah, no, I agree with you with regard to Stone Harrington. I mean, we knew he was going to kick off, but when he trotted out there and did the first extra point, that was kind of, okay, that's kind of a surprise. And then he did the second one as well. Bellefonte did kick the first field goal, which was in the first half of play. It was a 29-yard field goal. But yeah, that was kind of interesting. And then with regard to the running backs, it's kind of 1A, 1B. With looks like Cam Dickey at least got the lead going there. And I think Jeff makes a good point with regard to the offensive line, that Barron got touched 3 times like he did, or hit 3 times like he did, and the one is just you can't do that. You gotta pass block. You got to pick that guy up, otherwise your quarterback's going to get hurt. And I've seen some discussion that Barron's allowed to get out of the way, but man, that was pretty quick, and he was right there. I mean, he didn't really have time to move because the guy was coming in right at him. So, but I think that's a good point. And man, there was a long time before you ever even had a third down in the ball game. It was late in the second quarter, I think, before you ever had a true third down play. I would have to go through the play-by-play to tell you exactly, and then it wasn't until the second half, I think, before they converted a third down for a first down.
Yeah.
Arkansas Pine Bluff. So, I mean,
I would be lying to you if I didn't, say that I'm a little bit nervous about fan attendance this weekend. After this one being as big of a blowout as it was, you're expecting something similar. It feels like fans will say, got that first one in, first game of the season. Everybody's excited to see the team get out there and all that. But, hey, we'll sit this one out and we'll wait for Oregon State or what's coming in Big 12 play.
Especially because it's 11 o'clock game, for the out-of-town group, that, would come in on a Friday and then, are they going to stay over 2 nights, and all those kinds of things. But yeah, I think
wouldn't the 11 make it easier for them?
Maybe. Well,
they'd be able to watch the game and then make a 5-hour drive home.
If you're coming in Saturday morning, it makes it a little bit harder.
Yes, in that situation, yes.
It makes it a little bit harder. But I think just the whole. You're playing Kent State. It's week 2. We were there last weekend. We had a good time. Yeah. You hope that your student section is. Man, we got into the stadium. I got in the stadium right at maybe an hour or so before kickoff. Okay, and the student section down to our left, which is on the east side, was already full. And that is that has been uncommon. Although towards the end of last year, that's I've not seen that. And they actually had to tell them, hey, you're gonna have to go to another section. And they put some in the north end zone as well. And then I always kind of judge, when they tell you that it's sold out and things like that. And the stadium was full, and even the seats that kind of straddle the scoreboard there in the north end zone, there were people in those seats as well, which hasn't always been the case. The other thing that was, and I'd heard Robert Giovanetti talking about this on Thetford and Ashby, they expanded the screens on the video board, and I'd seen a crane out there working, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, but they have game stats on the scoreboard almost throughout the whole game, and I really appreciated that because I love looking at that.
Yeah, I like it, no doubt.
So that was really cool, and I like the colored smoke now in addition to the big flames. So it makes really for a cool entrance for for everybody that's coming out of that south end zone and the horse and all that kind of stuff.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I have hour 3 of 3 with us. An hour from now, it's the end of the bench on 100.7 The Score and the Dan Patrick Show here on Double T 97.3. We'll have the high school fan zone tonight on 100.7 The Score from 6 to 7. Coaches from Monterey and Coronado. Then the Astros and the Yankees from Houston tonight. That'll be at 7. And then we'll have the Rangers and the Diamondbacks tonight from Phoenix at 8 with play-by-play at 8:35 tonight. The Rangers are winners of their last 6 in a row. Have you been to the Diamondbacks baseball stadium?
I have not.
Okay. So we'll have that for you tonight. They'll paint the pretty pictures for you, and hopefully the Rangers continue their winning ways. Rangers, after this series, will host the Houston Astros. And as far as Seattle is concerned, the team that's right behind the Astros and ahead of the Rangers for the wild card spot, they're at Tampa, then at Atlanta. Okay. Thoughts, comments from the Yates Flooring Center chat line, Visual Edge IT hotline. We come to you, Jamie, Jeff, and I, from the First United Bank studio. We get this. This is nice to hear, Jamie. Just letting you folks know what this game did for me. It's opened up my Red Raider passion again to where I'm listening to you at work for the first time in several years. Wow, several years. We're still here. We took care of business like we should have. Thanks for the seat on the bandwagon.
Okay,
yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Jeff responded, the seats are always warm and the drinks are always cold. Enjoy. Unless it's November and we need a hot drink. Hot chocolate or something like that. Cup of coffee. Here's a question, Jamie, off the Yates Flooring Center chat line. We've kind of touched on this a little bit, but this person just flat out says, would you start Will Hammond this week?
I would wait to make that decision. I mean, I think if Barron is really close to being 100%, I'd prefer he be out there. I would like to see Barron rack up some numbers, prove some folks wrong, and get himself in the running for Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year. So if he's got a chance to be out there, I'd like to see him out there. Okay,
and I think that's kind of the prevailing thought with regard to that. Because they've said a couple different times. They said after the game on Saturday, and Coach McGuire said yesterday, there's nothing structurally wrong. There's nothing broken. It's just really, really sore. So, you know what? A football coach says it's really, really sore. It must be really, really sore.
Yeah, sure.
You know, because like when your kid says, it's sore, and you look at it and go, there's nothing, doesn't look like there's much here. But that's really sore. But then when a football coach says it's really, really sore and, you know, the muscles and all that around the shin, you know, that it kind of went up and down his leg, so to speak. We get this. It's hard to gauge this team until they play better competition. That's fair. Most have Utah as a loss now after their performance. Does that change your opinion on Tech and Utah after what Utah did this past weekend, Jamie?
You know, I didn't watch enough of the game to be completely certain of anything. Also, we don't know what UCLA is. They weren't a great team last year. So I know they're Power 4 and they're way better than what we faced in Arkansas Pine Bluff, but I don't know that UCLA is that great either.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. And the same could be said for North Carolina.
Yeah.
Right? So I would, if you were asking me to rank best wins of the weekend, those are your top two. And if you were asking me to power rank the teams in the Big 12, I probably would have those two teams near the top just because they beat Power 4 teams. But I don't think that guarantees anything. I think everybody has a lot to prove at this point. But to the texter's point, I agree that it's impossible to gauge anything off of this game that we just saw, and at least you feel like you know a little bit more about Utah and TCU.
Mm-hmm.
And also I feel like we know a little bit more about Baylor.
Yeah.
That was a pitiful performance.
Yeah. No question.
Yeah. I mean, Colorado I didn't think was terrible. They just didn't look explosive offensively or whatever, but they look okay.
Mm-hmm.
Not horrible. Baylor gave up over 300 yards rushing.
Yeah, they kind of got gouged.
Yeah, they just did not look good at all.
Kind of based on the weekend, you almost wish you were playing Baylor, and maybe you're glad you're not playing TCU. But we're only into week one.
Yeah.
So you've got to tap the
TCU
brakes.
looked good, no question.
Tap the brakes just a little bit there. Somebody said this early on, or not early on, about 40 minutes ago. Tech still needs to work on their kickoff returns. Who is their starter? Micah Hudson. Well, you
got good returns. The problem was you had holds on.
Right. That's exactly right.
Yeah, it's not the returner's fault. And this may be what the texter's talking about. It's definitely not the returner's fault, but the blockers up front picking up penalties.
Yeah. You can't have those holding calls. And Coach McGuire called those lazy, bad eyes, bad feet. So he was. I wouldn't say the word disgusted, but maybe to a degree disgusted. He was not happy. That's for sure.
Actually, technically, I think you can have them. You just won by 60 and had 2 of them.
Yeah. Right. Because they kicked off once to start the second half, and they kicked off once after a touchdown.
Also didn't stop your team from still scoring on those drives.
Right. Because you scored on every single drive.
So you can have them.
Yeah.
Just when you're playing better opponents, you definitely want to avoid them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So your kickoff returners, Micah Hudson, Tristan Gentry, and then punt returners, Roy Alexander and Tristan Gentry. Jacoby Williams is listed as a backup to Hudson and to Alexander, but because of the injury to the other running back, as a result of that, you're not
Joyner.
Yeah, Quentin Joyner. Thank you. You're not going to see Jacoby Williams back there returning punts and kicks unless you maybe in a desperate situation.
I was pleased with how your running backs looked, though.
Mm-hmm.
Even without Quentin out there, thought they looked good.
Yep, and your receivers as well looked like everybody kind of did what they needed to do. So it was a good day for Texas Tech on Saturday.
This has been the Morning Drive Podcast, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Check out our library of Double T 97.3 podcasts at doublet973.com.